Hey, we are off this week, but don't worry, we'll be back next week with new shows. We spent some time down in Mexico City last weekend, had a great time, and we're going to have more of that for you soon. In the meantime, our meetup is about a month away, and we've got a great surprise for the first 100 people that show up, and we're going to share that surprise with you next. We'll see you next Friday with a new show, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite destinations that we've been to. Hey, have a great weekend, and live a little high on the hog.
Let's get to the bonus points.
It's now time for Let's Get to the Points bonus points. And tonight we have got a very special guest and some really cool things to talk about, not only in points and miles, but wine as well. Now, a saying we use quite frequently here on our show is we like to live a little high on the hog. Now, believe it or not, there is a wine that is called High on the Hog. And we think this is a perfect match for our Let's Get to the Point show. And with us tonight, the brand partners and head of business development for McPrice Myers Wines, and a guy that probably knows more about points and miles than us, maybe. It's Billy Grant. Welcome, Billy.
Thank you. I am happy to be here chatting about points, one of my favorite subjects, has been for years. Long time.
Are we going to talk about points or are we going to talk about wine? Which one?
We can do it all. But I'm sitting here in the middle of a beautiful Zinfandel vineyard. And this bottle of High on the Hog has 25% Zin in it. This vineyard, the one across the street, is owned by a local family, 5 generations of farmers. The other one's 100 years old. And some of that 100-year-old fruit is in the bottle that we're going to be tasting right now. This great little wine called High on the Hog that McPrice Myers, my partner, named a long time ago. And I don't know how, he High on the Hog, bull by the horns, pound for pound, right-hand man. He named these 4 wines, and then he just overproduced for them, and they just started taking off for him. I jumped in with him about 7 years ago after I sold my first winery that I built here in Paso Robles from 2002 to 2011. We've been kind of going out there and growing it and building it. So it's been a lot of fun. But the names are fun, but the wine's serious is what I should probably say.
So first off, we should thank one of our loyal viewers. Alex reached out to us and saw High on the Hog wine at Costco, sent us a photo, which encouraged us to reach out to you and your team, Billy, to talk about this wine. So thank you to Alex for bringing this wine to our attention. Otherwise, we would have gone through life without knowing about you guys.
Alex lives in Northern California, I'm going to guess.
Is that where you have wine at Costco?
That's the only store that we sold any High on the Hog.
Well, how fortunate that Alex happened to be at a Northern California Costco store to see it and to take a picture of it and send it to us. So thank you, Alex, for bringing it to our attention.
It's a lot about experiences, right? When I was in San Francisco, I was in the financial world and developed electronic payment processing technology. And we had a nice sized little company there at Embarcadero Center. Great time. But when I got done that and I came here and I stuck my feet in the dirt with a buddy of mine who was a chef in Boston, but had come out here to make wine, I just got my feet in the dirt. And it reminded me of my rural roots in Maine, growing up on a little vegetable farm, growing summer corn and selling it in a stand down on Route 1 to all the people from Massachusetts and New Hampshire to come to the southern Maine coast for the summertime. And when I came down here, I just said, you know what, it'll be a different life and a lot of things will be different. And I came here instead and got involved in agriculture. It's a career, but it's also a lifestyle. There's a lot of great people, a lot of fun people, a lot of fun events. Not as glamorous as we all think it is. You come to the winery for a long weekend, say, hey, I'd like to make a little wine and crush a few grapes and maybe go pick some grapes. After 3 days, I promise you will be on a stretcher. It is a grind. It's hard work, but I think because for the first time in my life, I got to work with something tangible. It's what really, really took me. I think if I'd been in Silicon Valley and stayed in tech business, I might be living a little higher on the hog. Let's be real. But Mac's grandmother used to say that over dinner. My grandmother said over dinner. When I saw it, I said it to Mac. He goes, no, that's why I named it, because my grandmother used to say on Sundays, when there was a big old pot roast on the table and there was a lot of food around and some good wine, she always said, we're living high on the hog tonight. And I said, that's fantastic. And that's why he put the name on the bottle. And believe it or not, I was able to actually trademark the name, which is astonishing to me. So he's got a whole series of these wines. The labels look similar with these fun names on them, but he always puts a lot of elbow grease into putting very serious wine into the bottle. I'm really proud to have representing his wines and taken on this project with him over the last few years. But my real passion is talking to people about points, which is why when I heard that you guys like this and then you called called us. I told everybody on the team, I go, everybody back off. I got to get on this podcast. I got to talk about points. I got to talk about points, man. Anyone who listen, I try to help them understand where to get the best bang for their buck. If you're going to spend money, you're going to use a credit card, figure out what it is you're trying to accomplish, get the right credit card, and accumulate points in that direction. And one of the worst things you can do is get a Wells Fargo, a Bank of America card, get up all these points, and you call them up and you go, I spent $100,000. Can I go to Europe? Well, you can go one way to Europe. Like, what? But if you had 125,000 miles on United, this is like 10 years ago, or American, you can go round trip to Europe, first class. And they're like, what are you talking about? And so I've always been promoting that and talking about it. And so when I saw this, I got very, very excited because when I saw that movie,
Up in the Air,
and I was like, yeah, okay, what do you got? I'll tell you what I got. I loved that whole scene, and I was like, I live for that scene. I've done that Marriott or a Hilton with people and said, and talking about status, and it's just fun, and it's always been a passion of mine to work on things like that and talk to people about it. So when I saw this, I said, I am all in. I got to talk to these guys.
Billy, I don't think it's fair that you're drinking and we're not. So can we go ahead and open our bottles and pour ourselves a glass?
Absolutely. And so take that capsule, get the knife under there, and tear the whole capsule off. Don't go around the rim. This isn't, we're not eating La Bernardin, for Christ's sakes. And remember, here's another little tidbit for everybody. If this bottle goes into your recycle bin and you've not removed the entire capsule, you've left wax on it, guess what happens when it gets there? Right back to the landfill. It has to all be gone for it to get into the furnace, which is why all future vintages of this and other wines we already have no capsule on them. And you're seeing a lot more people do that.
Can you tell me what the capsule is?
So the capsule is the thing that goes over the top. It's purely decorative.
Oh, uh-huh.
It doesn't have any impact on the wine, and it matches up with the with the coloring on the label probably, and so on and so forth. And it's a design element. They used to be made of lead, kind of horrifying. Then they were tin, which is pretty horrifying to pull out of the earth, as we all know. Then they became more plastic oriented, and then people start dipping it in wax. We've seen that in a lot of them. Some people might say, they might keep a little mites off the top of the bottle or something like that. That's not really a thing. But we've taken them off of everything now. We just put a little stamp we just brand the top of our cork. So when you go out and find our wines in the market from now on, we're not going to have them because it's a lot more sustainable not to have it.
Always take it off before we recycle.
And that way you're guaranteed that your bottle hopefully will make it to a spot where it'll get into a furnace and get reused. What do you guys think?
Okay, so here...
Red blend.
So here's the cool part. So we're having a meetup in Los Angeles. We're going to talk points and miles on December 7th. Now, it gets even better. We're all going to live a little high on the hog if you're coming to our event, because Billy and the gang, they're going to be able to give everyone a glass at our meetup of High on the Hog. How cool is that?
Very cool. Thank you, Billy. Everyone's going to get a High on the Hog glass of wine.
It looks like I'm driving to Los Angeles, which I do all the time.
Cheers. Let's do this
High
properly.
on the Hog on December 7th.
We all making eye contact here. We could,
Oh, okay. All right.
You got to make eye. You know about that toasting and eye contact, right? You know
Absolutely.
what the curse is if you don't make the eye contact.
So you have to make the eye contact.
You don't know what the curse is?
No.
The curse is 7 years.
Who's going to tell her?
Oh dear.
You know what? I'm sure it's not true, but who the frick's going to risk it? Who's going to risk it? I'm not going to risk it.
Or who's going to tell on it? Who's going to tell?
Billy, this is so good. I don't usually drink red wine, but this is good. I will drink this from now on.
Thank you. I will share your comments with my buddy McPrice Myers. People are starting to finally realize that's one guy, by the way.
Yeah, because it sounds like two last names.
Yeah, yes. It's like a law firm, right? It is not. It is McPrice Myers. All of Max Wines, you go to our website, you'll see the Irish clouder, the clouder ring.
It's that with the heart and the crown?
Correct. Mac is just a hardworking guy, and that's why we made these wines called hardworking wines. Whereas Dickie's 24/7. This is a blend. There's 6 grapes in this wine, by the way. This wine gets made last, so all the wines that get put together from our premium set and our direct-to-consumer wines and more expensive stuff, they all get made first. We bring a little bit of wine and a little bit of Grenache and Syrah for the base of this wine. Everything else we do, we make a finite amount of, like 300 cases of a particular wine that we're going to put in our wine club, or 300 cases of something else. There's always a few extra barrels. Max starts pulling these together to see what he thinks is going to come together in a particular vintage. This one actually has a little bit of Merlot in it, a couple percent, a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon in it too, actually. But it's got a good chunk of this old vine Zinfandel, and then Syrah Grenache, and a little bit of Mourvedre, and a little bit of Petit Syrah. Mourvedre and Grenache, of course, are grapes. The clones that we use are the ones from the French side. So in the region of Châteauneuf-du-Pape in France, this area where we live is a tremendous area for those grapes that grow in the Rhone Valley and in particular the southern Rhone. So we always have a lot of those grapes here. And Bordeaux grapes like Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, etc., are all happening here now too. When we plant grapes here, it's the antithesis of the soils that are on the North American plate, which are in Napa and Sonoma. We got to grow different stuff. It's going to be a different region.
Billy, if your love for wine is anything like your love for credit cards and points and miles and traveling, I can't wait to dive into like all the redemptions and all the places you've been to. My first question for you is, what was your first travel rewards credit card? It's been so long, huh? You've been in this game like decades.
It was a Chase-oriented Visa card for United Airlines. At the same time, an American Express card that was providing points to be used for travel. And back then, significantly more liberally converted to miles in several frequent flyer programs. And anyone who's in the game knows that that number has just gone like this. I want to trade for a Delta mile, I get 1-to-1. I want to get an Emirates mile, I get 1-to-1. A Hilton American Express card, because I was a Hilton guy. I loved it when I'd go to New York City, though, and, you know, they got that nice spot where they let you check in off to the side. They bring you a glass of champagne, you're checking in. You know, I must admit, when I was younger, it makes you feel like a pretty big deal, which is why they do it, right? They want to make you feel good. Then I got frustrated with United because I lived in San Francisco. There was a winter when United was 40% late on every single flight. Now, I don't know why I thought American would be better, but a friend of mine said switch over to Americans. They gave me platinum status by just switching my 1K over. And so I did it. And I've been with American ever since. And then I switched everything over to American. But I kept the American Express because it was very, very valuable at the time. And then of course, I went with the American Express cards for the Marriott programs, which really started out with the W Hotel and now became Bonvoy. I've always been a big proponent of people not using the Bank of America card, the basic Wells Fargo card. I've always been a proponent of miles, and that's always been the best bang for the buck. We convinced significant number of our vendors to take credit cards for business expenses. Now, a lot of times you'll have a big bill to buy something if you're a company. They don't want to take a credit card. And I understand. They don't want to pay the fee. And what I did is I convinced them, instead of being on 30-day terms, to give me 10-day terms. I'll give you your money in 10 days, 5 days. I'm going to get 30 days on the other side anyway from my credit card. So I don't need 30 days from you anymore. And I got a significant number of them to accept American Express or a Visa card for literally bills that were $80,000, $100,000, $150,000. So these things add up quick. And I've shared that with a lot of people here in town that are now accumulating Amex points and Visa points like crazy. But you can negotiate it with your vendors. You know, you won't win. You won't going to do it every time, but you can come up with a situation where they would do it. We were sitting on about $1.2 million, $1.3 million in Amex points. We were trying to go business class to Emirates to Dubai and then return from South Africa. The Wells Fargo card was worthless, even though it had 300,000 points on it. So we're on the phone with Amex and they're going, well, and even Amex, you know, you do through the travel thing, you're not getting a great bang for your buck. I'm sorry. You get a great service and all that stuff. They're like, okay, we can get you 2 tickets for like 1.2 million points. So on the phone, I go, are you related to the Emirates program? And they go, yes. I go, what's your ratio of transfer? And they said 1-to-1. I went, oh, really? Call you back in 45 minutes. We get on the phone with the guys and I asked them to quote us 4 business class tickets using miles. How many miles do I need? Called back American Express, gave them the frequent flyer number. They moved over 1.3 million points. It turned into 1.3 million miles. And 30 minutes after that, we had 4 business class tickets round trip. And if you can get a $7,000 plane ticket as opposed to just a $1,000 plane ticket because you put it in the right account, that just makes all the sense in the world.
Billy, can you tell us your experience on this Emirates flight and how it was?
Their business class is like first class. It's definitely a level above. But I snuck up to first class, check out the shower. Just wanted to see what's up. Hey, what's up here? The attendance section of that 380 was amazing, just where they got to hang out and sleep because we're on a 15-hour flight. At that time, it was the longest flight in the world. The bar's fully stocked, hanging out with people in the back in the bar. It's exactly like you would think. The sleepers were really, really comfortable. The cabin is big and the fuselage is so big, you don't feel claustrophobic at all. There's plenty of height in there. But the overall experience from just showing up at the airport, going straight into a crazy cool lounge, the lounge is connected directly to the gate. It was a business / first class experience that is definitely a cut above. Lufthansa has always been pretty damn good too, though. I remember drinking 2003 and 4 Châteauneuf-du-Papes at Lufthansa. They had it going on as well with their food and their wine. And that flight was kind of special because as soon as we got on the plane, all the seats in front of us got taken by the guys from from Fast and the Furious. And,
whoa. Wait, and on Lufthansa?
And it's when they had it all upstairs. Give you a gushy pair of pajamas. Go get changed. We'll make your bed for you. Here's your shots enough to pop. I mean, like, oh my God, I love this.
Okay, which celebrities did you see?
The bigger guy. Well, the
Rock
is there. And that's the guy I'm hanging right next to.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker.
Wow,
Thank
he
you.
is adorable. Sorry.
Absolutely. Super cute. I like him too. So I'm standing there and I got to put my bag up. The Rock takes his bag. The irony is each one of these people has their own bodyguard.
Oh.
Now, why Rock needs a bodyguard, I don't know.
I don't know.
His muscles are just for show.
I go to put my bag up and he puts his bag up. So I'm looking at this arm and it is gigantic. And I'm like, either this a monstrous man or someone standing on their hands and he's putting it in there with his leg. And so I look and sure enough, it's him. He says hi. I say hi. I go back. But you meet these people, right? And they're all a little bit smaller than they are in the movies. The Rock is not smaller. Nope, not at all. It was 125,000 miles, and boom, I'm in a ticket that cost 17 grand. That was one of the bigger coups that I've had a chance to do too. I'm trying to put myself in the best position and trying to help people know if you're going to spend dollars, get to the right miles account, the airline you're going to use, and work towards accumulating miles. Especially now with American Airlines, with this new loyalty points thing they have. I buy $35,000 worth of corks at the exact same value as if I flew 35,000 miles. It's been a game changer with their new loyalty points program. Everybody that I know now has a Barclays card or a Citi card because where we live, American has 4 or 5 nonstop flights out of here on jets because we live in a small rural area to get us to big airports. So it's an airport people use anyway. So they should really give me a commission actually, now I think about it. I've been getting a lot of people to use that card a lot. For sure.
I'm so glad you brought up the point about negotiating with your vendors. I think that's something huge that business owners can do in order to move their spending to a card that's going to maximize their point earning potential. I don't think that a lot of people know that's a possibility. That could change a lot of stuff for a business owner.
Yep, absolutely. I once paid a very large bill with my American Express card and negotiated the fee because, of course, they didn't want to pay the transaction fee. So I negotiated something that I would let them charge me a portion of it. The only business you don't get is the business you don't ask for.
Amen. Amen.
You gotta ask for the order. What I have found is more times than not, there's something that can be worked out.
I hear you talk about your love for Hilton. And if you watch the show, I have a love for Hyatt, the better H hotel.
I've been a Hyatt guy. Okay.
Have you been to many Hyatts? And if so, which one's your favorite?
Well, we stay at this really killer one up in Sacramento when I go to Sacramento for the big wine and grape symposium. It's the nicest hotel, in my opinion, downtown Sacramento for sure. The Hyatt Embarcadero Center.
They just opened the revolving restaurant at the top.
I was going to ask. I heard that wasn't. It's open again.
That's where the club is. You can enjoy the club lounge there when you go back.
But there's some fabulous spots around the world that those guys have for sure.
Okay, so you are a Hilton and a Marriott fan, right? So tell us about all your favorite hotels.
The Waldorf Astoria. They would treat you special. The W Barcelona was probably the nicest room I've ever got. Asked them for an upgrade. I was ambassador or whatever. I slid this thing across. It was this little thing they had sent me saying, if you get exceptional service, hand this to the person who gave it to you. And evidently, it's important for them to receive this. And so we're going up in the elevator and then we're going down a hallway. And the guy says, I've never been in this room. We get in there. It is a 2,500 square foot 2-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
27th floor.
Wow, indeed.
With balconies on both sides and a giant jacuzzi on the 27th floor balcony. Literally, if you fell out of the jacuzzi and over the railing, you're going to land basically in the ocean. You've seen that one, probably picture. It's built like a giant sail and it sits right out on the edge of the ocean, the very end of the beach. At the other end of the same beach is the Ritz-Carlton. In New York, I used to also stay at the Millennium downtown, right there near the Stock Exchange a long time ago. But and I got to tell you, the Alaska Airlines card, I've used that one too, and my kids have that one. That particular card provides a lot of value, and as an airline, they provide really good service as far as upgrades, number of miles for a flight, number of miles for a first class ticket. Alaska seems to go the extra yard. Maybe JetBlue, they've got a Mint service, the best first class in the United States. That Mint was amazing when that first happened. Not only was it good food and good wine, you could sleep from LA to Boston, which was awesome. And I kept thinking that they should have done, because of the color of the American Express card, I put it in the suggestion box. You guys need to get a Mint American Express card going with American Express. You need a Mint American Express card. And I never saw it happen. So I guess I don't think they read those things very much.
So Billy, I have a question. So the 5 of us, let's say we're in Paso Robles and we are going out to a very nice dinner, good food, good wine. We're having a great time. You're paying, Billy. When the check comes, what card are you throwing down to pay for that dinner for us?
Probably going to throw down my Citi or my Barclays American Airlines card and just keep jamming loyalty points. Because once you get to 200,000 and you're executive platinum, I flew 140,000 domestic last year. I probably got stuck in coach twice. It's just automatic. You're always at the top of the list. And 100 hours before they call you. And if the seat's available, you get the first class seat. So that is a real draw considering how much I have to jump around and fly.
Does your company prefer American Express for the business card?
It does. And it's just because.
Billy, Mitch has this wine that he's high on the hog. And I'm thinking you should come out with a new wine, give us 10%, and call it Bang for Your Buck.
Bang for your buck. I like bang for your buck.
It should be yellow, kind of like Spirit.
Billy, so you mentioned that you got one of your partners to finally start using a credit card, to get more benefits in that. I find it hard to talk to somebody about points and miles because maybe it's too advanced and they don't understand what I'm saying. And it's hard for me to grasp that. But hearing you talk about wine, I feel like I'm my friends when I talk about points and miles because I'm like, what are all these grapes and wines that he's talking about?
Exactly.
I have no clue. I'm still trying to figure out the blend that you talked about that I'm drinking right now. But now I feel like I understand.
Do you think it's yummy?
It's yummy for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done.
It's buttery.
Like it. It's yummy. That's all you need to know. When I came to McPrice Myers, Mac and Liz were already in, man. They were already crushing it with the Amex. I mean, Liz had negotiated amazing things with people. Liz and Mac were way ahead of the game. It's funny. I could never get my other partner, my other winery on board. And then I just said, I'm doing such and such and we're going to do such and such. And American Express paid for all of it for free. And they're like, what are you talking about? I go,
Exactly.
call up this person, because guess what? You don't think they'll take American Express? That's how we pay for everything from these 3 vendors. We're pretty judicious in how we use it, and we're pretty diligent about making sure we get people to take it. But I think a lot of business would do that too. Even smaller ones, they can get a few 100,000 in particular. It's, we have lots of things we got to buy to make our wine, of course. And I'm finding that more and more vendors are less apprehensive to take a credit card than what it used to be in our industry.
Are you guys using the same American Express card from year to year? Or is it that you're opening new cards to get new welcome offers?
You know what? We're using the same ones pretty much. These welcome offers are tempting. It's the reason why I have a Barclays and a Citi. Right? For me, for American Airlines. We should probably look into that a little bit and just see if there are some incredible offers that are out there on the horizon right now with Amex. But our Platinum card is our number one go-to overall as a company for sure.
Billy, you mentioned a wine club. Can you talk to us about that a little bit? Because we're familiar with wine clubs because, American Airlines, an airline that you like, has a shopping portal where you can sign up for a free trial of a wine subscription. Now, sometimes that wine subscription, that trial is maybe like $50 or so. You get a box of wine and then you cancel it, but you got about 5,000 miles and loyalty points. Just trying to see if your wine club is on there so we can get some extra miles and sign up.
But we won't be canceling your club. Don't worry.
You like the wine too much. No, I think we're not. Something has come up recently in a conversation at the winery about participating in something very similar. I'm going to have to go back and ask about that. I think it's a pretty good marketing opportunity for us, perhaps to have a bottle of our wine be a part of that. That does sound pretty cool, actually.
The going rate is 10,000 points per case.
Is it really? Wow.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, okay.
I would like it to be, but it's not.
Yeah, no kidding. It'd be pretty cool to co-market with something like that and offer loyalty points. I think it's something we'd be really open to trying to take a look at and figure out how it might work. Absolutely.
You heard it here first, guys. High on the Hog is going to be an American Airlines shopping portal.
I got to tell you, I want to get high on the hog on that damned airplane, but I got to tell you that the big guys dominate that market. It's always like, the big conglomerates. Every once in a while you'll fly and you'll find a bottle of wine. You'll go, how the hell did you get this?
So Billy, I know you're smack in the middle. What's your preferred airport, SFO or LAX?
SFO.
Ah.
Now, it's not because runway situation, 1/5 of a mile apart. What a cluster that is. 1 ounce of freaking fog, and they're like, shut one down. And I'm all about whatever's living in the bay. But man, move those big giant pile of rocks that way, 250 yards, and then they'll never set that extra running down again. I think getting in and out of there is easier. There's nothing like pulling up to LAX.
Listen up, Nicole.
Here I am. And you want to get to the spot where you can cut through the parking lot, that thing to cut over and all that crap. You can't even get there.
No.
And it's like you're sitting there. Or you return your rental car and you go, I'm going to make my plane, turn the rental car and get in. And then the rental car bus at 11:30 at night to catch a red-eye flight. I think I'm golden. I didn't get to the American Airlines counter to check my bag until almost midnight. It took over 45 minutes. And I've been stuck there a lot. And I go there at 5:30 in the morning. It still takes that long. At 11:30, still takes that long. The LAX thing has really bummed me out lately.
Nicole, this is why Mitch is not picking you up at LAX ever.
I was just listening and I was thinking, Miguel, you and I are going to have to take an Uber. Mitch is dropping us off at the curb and we have to figure it out. Billy, you are an absolute character and I can't wait to be face to face, drink this High on the Hog wine with you.
I am
excited.
This on December 7th?
Are you coming?
Absolutely.
We want you to come.
Yes, he's coming.
3 hours away. Let me check my what's going on.
We need a commitment.
If you come into LAX, somebody will pick you up.
3 hours away.
It's faster to drive.
What do you got going on? You're doing a meetup? What do you have a few people just want to have some wine and hang out and talk about points?
Well, it's not going to be a few.
Yeah, just a few hundred people.
And these are people who listen to the podcast, Jones on Points, and want to chat with you guys face to face about it.
Yes.
Let's get some High on the Hog, a little of Mac and Billy's M Cabernet for sure there. Yeah, you can count us in. We'll support for sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely. You bet.
I can't wait to hear all your stories in person.
But anyway, I enjoyed hanging out with you guys today. I really did. It was really fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
I love talking points.
We enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make sure everyone out there joins us on December 7th in LA. You get to enjoy a glass of High on the Hog wine. First come, first serve. So you better show up on time.
Are you guys going to sit like up on a stage and like do a podcast? And then all of us are going to hang out and watch? How's it going to work?
That's a good idea. I like that, Billy.
What do you drink? A case a person? Is everyone just going to get frickin'
I don't know if this is appropriate, but I find
If it was like our meetup in Chicago, yes, that's how it will be.
Thank you guys for having me. I had a blast. Thanks for putting up with me, I should say.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for the wine, Billy. We really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really
Absolutely. Good. Enjoy it.
Cheers.
I love it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Till we meet again. We'll discuss the wine thing later, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you to Billy and McPrice Myers Wine for providing wine for our meetup on December 7th. Our RSVP list is currently closed, but sign up for our newsletter so we can notify you when our next meetup is. The first 100 guests will be receiving free High on the Hog wine. If you RSVP for this event, we'll be sending out an email later this week to confirm your attendance. See you guys on December 7th. I can't wait to meet up with all of you.